it's the sort of discussion around the league is there's the top 4 teams and then everybody else, but I think a lot of the teams are trying to work in building their chemistry, getting used to each other, having those vibes. Miami Heretics, they have that in spades. Like, these guys, all good friends, living with each other in the States now, and I mean, this is a team that is always going to be a lethal threat. So you have Heretics, incredibly fun to watch, and OpTic on the exact same front, incredibly fun to watch. So it's going to be a very good series of Call of Duty we get, Bryce.
Yeah, it really is, and I even saw some clips from Twitter action just before this one. Heretics getting ready for the game, the huddle up, ready. They know this is the real challenge. They've lost their last 2, but they can make a serious name for themselves if they do something here. They've got to go against the green wall. The question is, do they have a ladder just a little bit higher to get over it?
Well, they certainly have a strong opening break, at least. Whether or not that's the first step of that ladder, we get to find out. But good stuff early on. Shotzzy, though, of course, privy to the nerd spots. There's a freebie right there. And, I mean, honestly, just looking at that sort of setup, that does not look like it will ever be fun to break into. And, of course, as OpTic do break through, potentially thinking about that rotation as well. Kenny already making moves.
You see him now, there's going to be a big gunfire, and he's going to catch him as well. Looks for the second. Vehicle is in trouble. Vehicle is keeping his head down and actually getting out there just for a few seconds. But Kenny, with the play onto P2, just made it look casual.
Yeah, and he's opened things up as well, so he's got Shotzzy there for the reinforcements. OpTic a bit staggered, though, because a bunch of old players are still fighting for that old time, but same thing for Heretics. That is 2 players that went and challenged that old time over by P1, and now OpTic actually have pressure everywhere on the map. Dashy gets to reposition and take it slow because you have bodies right now all over this map on Invasion.
Dashy just waiting, eventually will fall, but they are really throwing up the defenses here. Miami finding nothing on this minimap at all. P2 is secure as it could possibly be.
Yeah, but look at it, though. They're reading the spawns again. That's the second time those, like, right side palace spawns have come through, and Dashy is there to rip your head away. I think it was Pred, the first player from OpTic, that had to make that read, but, I mean, the spawn awareness right now is on point from OpTic. I mean, they built themselves a very sizable lead. Shotzzy, by the way, has yet to die. Him and Kenny both go on a 5 spree on that P2 hill.
Gliding across the map as well. Nothing slowing down Shotzzy. And P2 will fall. Maybe scrap time here for Miami, but they have the rotation. OpTic are going to be here first. Slightly going to be a 2 versus 2. Shotzzy looking for this player. Should be an easy cleanup from him as well. Pred finds another one. And 6-0 now for Shotzzy as he goes back in the hill to Chow. Vehicle will fall again. 7-0. There are no deaths on his sheet.
I mean, this is a perfect rotation as well, and not only that, like, his pistol bullets are connecting. That is a clean 2 burst with the Renetti. Means, you know, the man's shot is on point. Hill time being collected. Vision is there. Explosions around him, but right now, Shotzzy can do no wrong.
Here we go. More pressure, though. His teammates have fallen. Shotzzy throwing bullets at the wall. Has Dashy as a little bit of cover, but knows there are people in the hill still. Going to be weak. Has to wait for this. Shotzzy should fall now, and he does. Eventually, the Heretics get a taste of what the hill will be as they finally get some points back on the board.
Yeah, and you see they are having to battle to get those points as well. That is a gauntlet they just had to run through to break into showers and still hit the fight for the final few seconds. Pred misses an extra bullet. That's enough for the gunny, potentially for the scrap, but you actually see OpTic. They really wanted the scrap time. They don't get it. Journey goes on a 6 and gets a cruise missile while getting that little bit of extra time. In the meantime, for Heretics, they've won the rotation. They got 2 players posted in and around this hill. Shotzzy's movement is clean. Can he do enough to find that opening gap? It looks like that is the case, but it is just a nice spread. All to Chow Lucky, who's posted in the hill, ready to go.
One more kill here. They can clean this completely, and they have done. And this is the thing about Miami Heretics, the thing we've talked about over and over again. They fight back. They are a scrappy team, no matter what happens, and they are now doing it against OpTic.
Yeah, that is a beautiful little hill for them as well. And not only that, they slam them hard enough just to get that 4-man wipe. You're keeping OpTic spawn in the back. You got players set up for the cutoff kills, that rotation over to Palace. I know for anyone that has played ranked play, we're starting to get used to the new hills. Well, it's the old patch still in the CDL, so the Palace hill still very much exists, and the Heretics will very much be there first. And even for these fights on scrap time, Lucky goes on a 3 spree, gets it. It was Journey, the hill before, that was winning for the fights for scrap as well. So Heretics, as you pointed out, really starting to pop off.
Oh, there's a table and it is doing barrel rolls because it is flipping all over the place. OpTic will now have to assail the unassailable. Palace is being locked down by Miami. Let's find out how they deal with the pressure, though, with the Heretics. Listen in.
Está detrás del coche, salen en P2. Por compra, Dashy, un tiro conmigo, un tiro Dashy en el coche blanco. Dashy, coche blanco de plaza.
Tengo rachas.
Vale, Dashy, coche blanco de plaza, bro.
Yo creo que no habrá P2, ¿vale?
Uno con conmigo ya, uno con.
Última derecha, ¿vale?
Abren, Luke, te va a pasar. Otro más P2 conmigo también. Dashy estaba colón en el coche blanco, bro.
Lo sé, estoy mirando.
Echen conmigo, le doy 2.
No hay nadie, gente. Buscamos a uno, gente. Kenny.
Ven a abrir, mira el Vedomo, bro.
Está en anterior, bro. Está en anterior.
Vedomo, otro.
Está el Vedomo yo.
¿Me pueden ir a incendiar? ¿Tienes corta? No.
Te voy a incendiar, te miro a incendiar yo. No tengo más para yo, Tengo DVDs. Yo te tengo a incendiar ahora. Ese se me cuela, se va a colar. Otro más en el coche. Coche incendiar. Otro más en carretera, lo veo. Otro más muerto. Sal.
No le veo.
Lo voy a aquí.
Muerto.
Es que era Javi, buenísimo. Conmigo hacen.
Voy a jugar el agua.
Mírame el editor. Javi, no mueras.
Estoy intentando morir.
Otro más en el editor. Buena kill. Os tengo el yo entero. Aguanta yo. Levanto de cara sin libro.
Mientras ya, no le he dado.
Te tengo de buena, Juan.
¿A quién buscamos? La fit.
And Heretics not missing a single beat, and OpTic might be feeling that Spanish heat. This has turned into an unreal game. You had Kenny early on going on a 5 spree. He has since only gotten 2 kills. OpTic, they've been like desperately fighting for scrap time, and Heretics have been shutting the door in their face. Now you go back over towards a P2. This is the only hill where OpTic had a true amount of success. Cruise Missile's only going to stop one player for a few seconds. It'll still be a straight up 50-50 fight from the front, but Heretics, they are swarming around this new time.
And Miami can feel it. They have been completely in control ever since they lost that first set of hills, and now they're looking to put it to bed here. The P2 pressure is on. Kenny is feeling it. He's going to go down as well. Vehicle's going to fall to another grenade. Lucky's going to be on the point. Miami have broken through here, but Pred comes through with a massive kill that they needed. And Metals will be alive, but they do not have control of this point right now. Miami will take another swing at it because they have the opportunity to and the time to burn.
Well, Heretics don't even necessarily want the control. What they really want is just to make sure OpTic stays off, because they're going to be ahead of the rotation. As long as the time is white, Heretics are feeling in a fantastic position. Looks like though Shotzzy might have other ideas. The cheeky spot actually maybe doesn't pan off for him. You see how hard Texas are having to fight just to get that final 12 seconds. Again, Heretics, they have cranked the pressure up, and they are free and clear on this rotation as well. They are very far ahead of this game.
And now another one for OpTic Texas. Here comes the cruise missile that was earned so long ago. Will it be everything they need? That'll be a kill that doesn't actually come through. A teammate gets it before he can do anything. And while Miami Heretics are first in this hill, OpTic are sizing them up. They need to get in this. They are severely behind.
Yeah, Dashy's trying to sort of pierce the middle of this setup. There's the first kill he's able to get, but the trade feeling like it might be instant. Doing his best job of staying alive, and he actually has been able to regen. Moves towards the hill, though. You see the pressure and presence that Heretics has. All 4 of those players were swarmed right around the point. There are no avenues of entry. Heretics, the Vamos, might just reign supreme.
And this is it, maybe one last roll here. You can see OpTic's just sprinting towards the point now. They have to make these kills. They have to get in. Every cut, every trade must go their way. 5 seconds left, and it's just a dive for Pred, but it is nothing more. And that is unbelievable. OpTic started by building that 20-meter wall, and it turns out Heretics had a 21-meter ladder in their pocket the entire time.
Oh, and that feels good too. Smiles out and abounds. I mean, OpTic is one of those teams that you play, especially so since they're towards the top of the league. It's intense, man. It can be stressful, but you see those players, they get the jitters out map 1 almost immediately, and now they are going to be feeling great going into map 2. But I gotta say, that's a hell of a game, right? Like early on, it was what, Shotzzy and Kenny both going on sprees. OpTic getting the break on P1, nice rotation over towards P2, but then it felt like a decent bit of sloppiness from the OpTic side of things, right? I mean, a lot of like the fighting they had on the scrap time over towards showers, where that just turns into feeding Journey streaks. Journey, by the way, 21 kills, 3k damage, absolutely did his job on the map. But I mean, there was a few hills, even like back Palace, where OpTic had the pressure around the point to try to like fight for maybe 20 seconds of scrap to get the break, and we're just so slow on the approach. So the early successes they were having in these moments completely faded away, and Heretics turned this map into outright domination.
Yeah, I mean, even just look at this first set of rotations again in the replay. You can see OpTic's like, hey, they're doing a great job. They got that kind of chain back to back. They broke it, and then all of a sudden, everything just went wrong. You can see Heretics turning up here. They got the big hold. OpTic not only kept fighting for it, they never had a chance to break through in any other part of the map, and it just went from bad to worse. They couldn't even get back into P1 after Palace.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like a couple of hills in a row too, like on the lead up to Palace. Like we talked about how they were fighting Journey on the breaks and showers. The next hill was Lucky posted up in the hill where they're trying to fight him with 10 seconds left and losing the gunfights. And I mean, you just end up getting behind on rotations on this map. It never feels good. And I mean, sort of a crazy stat line I think we saw as well, or at least on the scoreboard of like, Kenny, it didn't seem like was slaying, but I think he might have out-damaged everyone on his team. So it just felt like sort of a disjointed effort there by OpTic, who at this point, maybe no stranger to a bit of a slow start.
Wow. A slow start or a slow end, we'll have to see. And this is the difference. You can see where that game turned completely around. For 4 hills in a row, OpTic were basically flat. 6 points. On the other side of it, almost 155 for the Heretics. And that is ridiculous when you see it in graph form.
Yeah, I mean, look, a flat line is really never a good situation, I suppose, especially like if you're in a hospital. But a flat line in hardpoint, not a good thing either. Especially so, yeah, that 4-hill extension is completely absurd. So, I mean, again, shout out to Heretics, completely flipped the switch, got ahead of the game, and never looked back. But the bigger question for this Miami team right now is, before the break, when they were looking good, playing against the bottom teams, their S&D was on point, winning a ton of rounds, had a very nice record. Post-break, 0-3. Yet to win a search and destroy against teams more towards the top, which OpTic absolutely is. So this is a very good test for them on Invasion to get back in the swing of things for S&D, because make no mistake, it's not like these guys have been getting blown out. They are absolutely making plays on the map. Some of the teamwork that they showed when they were playing Terminal S&D against Boston was absolutely fantastic. But still, if you're losing these close games, it's going to hurt you long term. They want to see a win here.
Well, we'll have to find out, and I will give another little bit of a caveat to this situation. This has been the first time I've seen OpTic actually come out slow and then turn it all around. We'll have to see if they do it this time, but here are some beautiful S&D stats for these teams. Obviously, Metals looks good with a 1.12, but not in comparison to Shotzzy. A 1.47 is a crazy statistic in S&D.
Yeah, no, his output is fantastic. Like 0.85 kills per round. That's around like, top 5 in the league. So Shotzzy is going to be ever present on both offense and defense. His damage is on point. His KD is absolutely bonkers. And I mean, obviously everyone at this point is familiar with Shotzzy's game. We got a nice glimpse of like his superstar potential, even in like the first few hills of that Invasion. Definitely going to need to bring that to the table though on Invasion. A little bit more pressure on the squad, but always an electric player to watch.
Well, let's see. For Heretics, though, I will say when we talk about the S&D, it has been quite close for them, and they want to run with this momentum. We said before, right? Realistically, Miami Heretics do have incredible chemistry. I said before, I saw this thing about them all getting around, getting their heads ready for this game. They are taking this about as serious as you can do. They know what stands ahead of them. For OpTic, whether it's just a flat start or a little bit of miscommunication out of that hard point, they want to put it behind them. This S&D could dictate the rest of this series.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty massive like pace switch as well, going from hard point to search and destroy on a map that can come to a screeching halt on Invasion. So an opportunity for, collect your breath, get the vibes back and flowing. And you see the spot Lucky's going for it. Shots getting exchanged. He's just looking for the cross to see how many players cross the B. And it's only Kenny who's actually made the break over towards that B site, being left on an island. And obviously for Kenny, no trophies yet in round 1. Might be dealing with some stuns and nades, or maybe even a smoke for metals in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's different breaks and setups for everybody in round 1. Got to be a little bit more careful, a little bit wary of the timing for this. No trophies yet, and you can see both sides doing it as well. Just waiting, trying to get this information on this minimap that will give them an idea of where to push or where they could potentially find a pick. Also, Miami will have to be the team that makes a move eventually with that time burning down.
Well, there's the first shots being exchanged. We'll see how OpTic want to react because Kenny's calling out 2 for the pressure, so might need some reinforcements, but keep in mind for Heretics, they still have pressure around like P1 as well, so they're keeping their options open, but with 30 seconds left, they got to start to go. Smoke's out, and it looks like the dash might actually be across mid. Metals is playing with it.
Oh, Kenny just got it out. I haven't reacted to too much. I've held the position, but Metals finds Dashy, and now IA is all open. They've all fallen. Everybody down. Miami Heretics, the slow crawl towards Absolution. What a ridiculous connection.
Yeah, absolutely setting up for the kill. I think the focal point on that play honestly might have been the players on Heretics playing inside of P1 because there was never a thought or idea for those guys to wrap back and go over towards the B site with the bomb. Instead, they smoked off Kenny's line of sight so Metals could sneak in through that dark alley, and then everybody just pounced on the middle of the map. So Heretics sat there, absolutely took their time, read the pressure on where OpTic was on the map, and I mean, that is literally a perfect round of S&D. Every player getting a kill.
The question they're actually coming in from Miami. They're trying to get them on the cross. They have got the information. So do OpTic react to this and just put the pressure on? At the moment, they are looking down B Street. Is there anyone here to stop us? Miami have rotated all the way back.
And look at what Pred's going to have to do on the map because they had so much pressure down that, like, A street. He's going to be, like, waiting for Ghost to appear in front of him around gas. So might be a 4 versus 3 sort of situation for OpTic for the moment. But Smoke's out, and that is a perfect smoke at that. So much pressure now around B.
More open for Journey. Kenny, they're holding them as well. They have not got anywhere here, and OpTic have found their way into it. And it will now be Miami that have to run into the guns of them. They've already lost a man. The rest of them stacking up. Metals will get one back onto Kenny. Shotzzy on this. Hangs a player to his right as he dives around it. Did the player get through? He did, and Metals has found a second. Shotzzy goes from a Metals with another. That's 3 in the round for him as well. And OpTic have crumbled here onto this one, and Pred will have to try and make something happen. But I'm fairly certain that's the ace for Metals. What a round!
I mean, look, he bonkers as well. His stats might have been slightly behind Shotzzy, but he is there to make the big plays as well. And I'd be laughing too. That play was perfect. I mean, again, all the pressure that they showed down A Street, it backed Pred up to a deep corner of the map. And guess who was just out of the picture when this entire fight is going down? Pred, nowhere to be found. Heretics too quick to go and swarm and retake this site. And I got to say, I mean, there's no trophies down for OpTic either when Shotzi's planting the bomb. So I don't even know if that is a perfect round for Miami, but the shots absolutely were. That is insanity. Back-to-back rounds for Miami. That is exactly how they want it to happen.
They must not have been expecting the hit from all in one direction, but don't expect it just from Metals. And now again, the pressure for OpTic. They have not had a good couple of rounds. 1 kill between them in 2. Pred, though, has pushed up. He's been seen, and he will get Metals out of the game. And that is taking a lot of map control away from Heretics.
Yeah, and you like that response from OpTic too, right? Getting aggressive down this B street, making plays, and instead of letting Miami sort of play like a fiddle, now you get Pred doing what he does best. Could have assassinated, but he'll take the first 2 kills. Dashy for the next in. OpTic, again, looking for some sort of response. They absolutely deliver. Now Lucky just in a 1 versus 4 in between a few, gets spotted and gunned down. Pred out here making plays.
That's what they wanted. That first blood, that opportunity to put Miami on the back foot. Don't let them just creep up the map and take all the control. OpTic, maybe the play callers come in. We've got to change what we're doing. It isn't working. That is a round they desperately needed on the board.
Yeah, and with early rounds like we just had for Miami and that response, this is actually going to be the S&D game that sort of played like a chess game. Because already, if you're OpTic, you're back on offense. You have to be very cognizant of, well, Miami last time just double hit up that A street. They put all the pressure on. We want to respond to it. We don't want Pred out of the picture. But if they're leaning towards B, maybe more of a default setup or maybe a scattered push. Maybe OpTic trying to play chess, waiting for their move. Making the adjustment now, working back over towards A, but figuring out that game plan on the fly.
Shotzzy wondering if he can go straight for this, and hasn't seen anybody tank, nobody else anywhere. OpTic, they are a little bit compressed for this, but that bomb will now be down. It's all about P1 control and just keeping Miami away.
I don't know if that was figuring out the game plan on the fly or if they faked a bunch of people on the cross for the instant plan, but whatever the case is, 4 men down, or 4 men up rather, with that bomb down. And Vehicle, he's thinking about that hop.
He wants it. Have they got cover every single direction? That's what they're asking for. Going for this now. OpTic have got to kill. That is huge. They might have to back off. Metal's going for it, but they're going to ninja it. Nobody has checked this bomb, and it's defused. It was a tight, compressed setup for OpTic, but it gave up bomb site control.
Yeah. Straight up chess game. I think OpTic just faked a couple people on the cross to B because they instantly planted back over from A. So they're playing mind games and Vehicle just responds immediately. He gets near the bomb but waits a few extra seconds. He's just waiting for the call from his teammates to be like, yep, I've got this street. B-Dom's covered. Like, we have everything. You are now safe. Go for it. And the timing on point. Miami, everybody on the map doing their jobs. And that is a hell of a round. Miami playing incredible S&D right now. 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I think Vehicle was probably stressing just a little bit when he saw Pred get that first kill onto his teammate, wondering if that door was now open for him to be shot, but nobody ran through it. And Miami looking to see if they can go again here. More aggressive from them. Shotzzy has actually got a player nailed in. There's medals going down. Shotzzy, can he use his movement to get out of here?
Oh, hello. Movement's found him a brand new spot. Yeah, that is incredible. I don't even know, gun strength, foot strength, but question is, does it get red? And yes, it does. Shotzzy might be a genius, but Vehicle's big brain too. Guy speaks Mandarin and has the gunny. 3-2 man advantage for Heretics.
Kenny setting up a passive position, hoping for a kill here on the cross. Pred also playing passive, but a little bit exposed. He might not have the sufficient lead for a trade, but it depends if he can get this first one. Lucky goes straight through. Lucky has to get down. Vehicle goes for it as well and does get the trade out of this. Kenny will get one back as well. Now 1 versus 1. Vehicle running for his life. Tagged up with nowhere to go.
Barely any time too. And Kenny, yeah, ripping heads along the way. Vehicle hasn't found the opportunity even to cross out to make things mixy. And Kenny knows whatever bomb site Vehicle goes to, it has to be the hard commit. The nade, though, gonna back him down. Kenny knows the plays at A.
And now the question, does Kenny channel this? And he does. Kenny moves forward, and that is a read by Vehicle. Vehicle says, I'm going to throw the bomb, get you weak. If I get out here, I know you are channeling. Does not plant, runs the flank. That is chess. You are right. They are reading each other like a book.
Dude, and it's a hardcore chess game, too, for Vehicle. Again, there is no time on the clock. If he goes for the plant, Kenny almost assuredly going to check it and just get the freebie kill. But instead of Vehicle waiting for it and sort of guessing 50-50 what direction Ken's going to come from, he just flies at him, catches the timing, and breaks him down. Every single round from Heretics, there has just been either incredible teamwork or incredible decision-making or a little bit of both. OpTic Texas right now, they are feeling the heat.
They really are. Looks like a beat push from them again. Vehicle getting those nades out. Medals taking up an up front position. But they are. I've got a couple of players here. This could all go down to first blood.
This is obviously the spot that Shotzzy was around too, where he got the first blood. So OpTic have to be aware, and smooth moves again. Movement like that buys you first blood. Shotzzy, a hell of a way to get it.
And this opens up for him. Vehicle doesn't have the reinforcements apart from through dark, and Vehicle's actually just going to call that out. Hasn't said anything, hasn't fired a bullet. Calling for reinforcement of his teammate. He could get bad timing here, though, and he will fall. 2 versus 4, 4 versus 1. Lucky left alone, and down he goes. It was all about that first blood chance.
Yeah, no sneakiness there, too, right? Vehicle, again, trying to make one of those heads-up plays, but despite the fact that he had the trigger discipline, OpTic still making sure they stay on point, check the corners, and take him down. And as you pointed out, yeah, Shotzzy just a nice little hop-up spot, able to sniff out medals. Sort of an interesting play, right? Shotzzy gets a first blood from that situation. Medals tries to respond in kind, but Shotzzy staying ahead of the game. Still down in round count, though. OpTic, they're working for these rounds, but still have a decent ways to go.
Well, let's see. Fighting from the back foot. The defense here would definitely put a bit of wind in the sails of OpTic Texas. The Heretics.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say Shotzzy is the one playing over B by Ken, so there's been adjustments made, and OpTic trying to play a lot more aggressive down A, but already they fall to the first blood, so another advantage for Heretics.
There is a benefit. They've taken some map control around A. Heretics have changed their setup. They're being a bit passive. They do have the numbers, though, but Kenny already finds one. Needs to get away clean, and he does. Feet on fire, bullets hitting the ankles, but still away.
And this is so much more difficult for Heretics now, but maybe in the difficulty, they just might come out on top. Kenny gets caught. And Pred potentially that next man in line. And if they didn't know where he was, the stun lands at his feet. Pred now in between 3 and dropped. Tack usage, it literally does not get better than that. Shotzzy looking for the 1v3.
Basically put that in his pocket. Shotzzy, though, his movement's been great, but can his clutches be greater? This is what they need him for right now. looking for a Heretics member. He hasn't found any as he clears out P1. There's the first one. It's a beatdown, but Lucky throws fists faster. And Heretics 5-2.
And again, it's just like a deep playbook these guys are working with as well. They've played for picks. They've bullied out different sites. They've been aggressive. Well, this time they slow the pace down. Even after they get the first blood, still making sure they're taking their time, set up for the trades. And the Kenny trade, it might have taken a few extra seconds for them to find it. But obviously they're saving nades and they're saving tax as well for the deeper portions of these rounds. So Miami's still on point, and now they are on map point as well. One more round, and they go up 2-0.
They're feeling confident. OpTic looks like maybe a B hit again, trying to worm their way through that street. P1 control for Miami.
And Metals, yeah, he's seen all four. Maybe just the third. I guess Pred might have been a little bit late to actually get spotted on the cross, but OpTic, at least this time, are more grouped up together, so it's similar to a round we've had before, but Pred more in the picture.
Wonder if that smoke's going to come out again to then get onto the point. You can already see a bit of pressure coming through Journey on tank. Health has come back, but it is going to be OpTic making a full commit to the B site.
Journey right now is worried about a few different things, right? Worried about the pressure towards the middle map, worried about the dark alley chow, so he's worried about flanks. Everybody else on his team, though, they know the bomb's going down, and the first blood, Dash is able to get it. So a much different round now. OpTic have to defend this site, but Metals and Journey working together through dark, even up the odds.
Bait and switch worked out for them, but unfortunately, still a long way to go. They've got to go through every chow, and they've split up, trying to work this from two different angles. OpTic have this advantage. They should not be able to throw this round away.
Those are nice shots from Metals, too. Journey and Kenny, by the way, just had a 15-second game of hide and seek. Journey comes out on top, but there might not be enough time, or maybe there is. Shotzzy for the 1v1 through the tractor. Him versus Metals, and Metals guns him down. The 2 versus 3, they're able to deliver for a 6-2 win. The power of friendship is out of control.
The time was against them. The position was against them. The numbers were against them. Miami Heretics did not care. They found the kills. They found the time. And they found the win. That is a ridiculous game of S&D that realistically people should study because Miami looked incredible.
Yeah, every single round on point with different ideas. And like OpTic had a few nice ideas in the middle of it too, but that was just Heretics' game. Even for that 2v3 at the end, that's a round absolutely worth watching and getting breaking down because that is just sort of that like Heretics teamwork, everybody completely on point with just like the timing that you want to have of who's channeling what gunfight when. I mean, they just completely handle business. And again, as you pointed out, there is like 18 seconds left on the clock, maybe when it was still 2 versus 3. And I mean, Journey had to go and just hunt Kenny down. So, I mean, that is a minimal amount of time you're able to deliver. And that is 2 maps for Miami on Invasion where they look absolutely class.
Doesn't even look like a 6-2 in the kill feed. Like on the scoreboard, I was looking at the slaying. I'm like, doesn't look like a 6-2, but 6-2 it was. And if you were just watching this, you wouldn't think these teams were ranked very differently to a lot of people watching. 250 to 137 and 6-2. But we've seen OpTic bounce back before. Can they do it again? Can they light a fire? Or a Heretics just found different form this week, Chance?
I mean, look, that's the big question. I remember watching some of the watch parties when OpTic were playing against Vegas, and as soon as OpTic got that ball rolling, in like the first round of the control, there was a lot of people that were like, nope, OpTic's got this series in the bag. I think this might be a bit of a different vibe. Heretics right now are on point.
Wow. It's going to be one of those, a game before the major for these two. Miami Heretics, underrated or just a good first 2 maps? We will find out for OpTic Texas. They want as much wins as possible going into the major, as much practice as possible, because they want to walk away with the first one in Boston. We will find out how the rest of this series goes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Call of Duty League.
The Call of Duty Week is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. Don't miss out on all the action at the first Call of Duty League Major, hosted by the Boston Breach, this January 25th to the 28th at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to callofdutyleague.com for more info. Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have a great game on ahead of us here. It's OpTic Texas versus Miami Heretics. And Miami are looking like the superior team so far. But before we go forward into the next control, we're just going to go back a little bit. Myself and Chance were actually talking about some of those S&D rounds. And it's kind of curious for me, Chance, realistically. We were talking about the wallbang spot, and that's probably how OpTic ended up playing it.
Possibly, yeah. It was when Vico goes for the Ninja Defuse, like right before he hopped it. Kenny was trying to wallbang him in through P1, but I don't think he connected with anything because Vico hadn't quite gotten there. But that might have been a very small detail as to why OpTic lost one of those rounds. But either way, the story is just Heretics have absolutely been on point. Now we go to Karachi, and it is a aggressive B hit straight off the rip. And for OpTic, nobody is home. Dashy is the only player that can pick up the cross, and Dashy is dead. Everybody from Heretics, they've just found their new home.
That is not the start you wanted to see if you are an OpTic fan. They are already into this point, looking for a Pred, trying to find one to Lucky. Meadows getting away with his life, trying to go over the wall. Dashy, that's a huge kill from him. The first tick is in, but Vico is now outnumbered, but not outgunned. Finds the first, not the second. Great recovery there from OpTic.
Yeah, nice swarm indeed. Everybody getting right back into position, and I think that might be one of those sort of Dashy bailout moments where if he shoots a little less straight, maybe he doesn't win that kill, and maybe that B zone collapses, but all said and done, it is an extra tick over on that B zone, but right back to sort of that 50-50, that slow approach towards A. Vehicle, just pick a corner, any corner. Good luck trying to survive. OpTic have sworn the hill for all these kills.
Yeah, Lucky tries to play his life and get away here, and it looks like Miami is going, all right, well, A didn't work, let's go B again and give it a second go. It wasn't cleared down as well, so that tick is already halfway done. I was just trying to hold it for his teammate, trying to make sure that nobody else can get through as they get that second tick just onto the board. Medals flying out the back, but it's a huge win. Will be traded by OpTic themselves. That first tick still to go. Journey left alone here. Still has an opportunity, doesn't win the gunfight. Kenny to the rescue. OpTic recovery again.
Yeah, Kenny on point with that one. Yeah, a 6-0 start from him. Maybe shades of what we saw in the first invasion, but that is a B zone that I think falls the majority of the time. Instead, it is Kenny setting up players for the kill, forces the team shots to come through. And for a round where Heretics actually still have a decent bit of pressure on the map, they are running out of time, 25 seconds. And by the looks of it, they're trying to figure out if they want to force B or not. They're coming this direction. Kenny is still the man to deal with, and Kenny is still the man they cannot stop.
Oh my goodness, Kenny on a nice streak, flawless and unstoppable. Miami Heretics are not expecting a monster in the form of this man here on the point. Should go down. No, he does. Okay. Medals will get him. A lucky turn, a lucky burn, and Miami Heretics have a chance.
Hey, nobody else is home from OpTic. Like, they're still trying to defend the A zone. B is going to falter. Kenny just put on a Herculean effort to protect this zone, and instead Miami gets it. And now this is a big question on Karachi. If you give up B first, is it possible on defense to hold A? By the looks of it, no. Heretics are going to jump on it instantly and potentially close that door. Last man to fall, and the round follows with it. OpTic, I mean, Kenny just started off 10-0 and they lost the round.
Oh, I don't even know what we are watching. I thought before this could be a good game. Miami Heretics are not a team to take lightly. But everything we have seen so far, and though it's early in the control, but what a thrill ride every step of the way. OpTic are going to be feeling a little bit sick about that.
I mean, it just felt like OpTic were like almost out of position the entire round. I mean, they got just hard blind counted off the opening break, and they still like adjusted. They re-swarmed over towards B, like only one tick came through and they stopped it, and then they just never had pressure on that side of the map again. So OpTic right now feeling some pain.
Well, let's see if they are feeling the pain in the comms with an OpTic Texas. Listen in.
castle, middles.
He's going fire, I think.
Fire?
Lucky, stop castle.
He didn't touch it.
Drop me cut,
I can't say that shit.
One more, stop castle.
Got someone
That's last year, that's last year.
Wait, what does useless? I'm in.
Useless?
You're in.
Yeah, look for lucky. Journey.
I'm hitting at the left for you guys.
We're in.
Mid,
One shot on point.
Nice
Give me your
shot.
useless.
That's
Nice,
two.
I hit at the left.
Give me a second, I'll flood to you.
I'm waiting.
I'm hitting
That's what we do.
Fire.
Okay, looking for two. Lucky and Vickle, bro.
How about
Still top five, Nice.
Looking for Lucky.
Lucky's. Oh, you got him.
I'm top line now.
Nice shot, that's Lucky. I'm here, give me a second.
You don't want to be.
Make sure you use the head. Yeah, back alley. Another back alley.
Back alley.
The all right back alley.
middles.
Back alley.
Back
Yeah, back alley.
I'm holding back alley, bro. Back alley, one shot back alley out you. They need it. I'm trying to shot back alley. Back alley, metal.
Two more, Ken.
Other guy's weak.
You TK.
One hit.
Weak, Vickle, back alley, look for Lucky.
I got one shot.
Let's get back in.
Let's get back in, one shot. They're all back alley, bro.
Yeah. Good job. Jam.
Nice, make sure you stack that shit. Nice shot. Try to stack it again. Little bit. Rear across.
You're back alley.
Rear across.
Nice.
Just plus point. I'll look
Back alley.
long.
Watch your back alley. Literally a bullet.
Get back alley, I'll look long.
I got
I know the back alley.
One there.
Flood point, flood point.
Flooding.
I got nade in one shot.
I don't say anything.
I'm holding back alley.
Back alley, hop.
I have the hop.
And OpTic have come alive in the comms and come alive in the round. Massive effort from Shotzzy there to get them down, and a few team kills from Miami Heretics put them on the back foot.
Yeah, there's been a lot of lining up in team kills this game from both sides, but Miami certainly feeling the more painful end of that one in that moment. I gotta say, though, you know a team is focused when Shotzzy just obliterates 3 people. Basically, nobody has any reaction. They are just all about their business, calling out the stacks, calling off the spawners. So if OpTic weren't focused before this series started, they are locked in right now.
That's what they needed. They absolutely had to hit another gear. And if we've seen OpTic before, once that gear gets hit, the game can change, and that's what we'll be looking for. Bodies, though, into this point.
God,
3 straight in. A rocket on the ticks.
And I mean, what, Metals is the lone man set up for the cutoffs, but now you know exactly what direction you need to look. It is a trade fest everywhere on the map, but that triple stack might have just put on the pressure. Is it good enough to get this early capture? Yes, it is, and that is going to be the most time you could possibly have on the clock to work with to go and capture B. Another completely on point opening break. I mean, every round of search and destroy, every round of control, and every hill, Miami's game plan is clear.
And they need this time, though. They've done a great job to get it through so far, but this is now going to be a mountain. OpTic are set up into the point, and they will slay out for as long as they can.
Maybe good news from OpTic in this moment as well. I think when they were on defense the first go around, they were still vaguely worried about A. That's just not an option anymore. They're going to put all the pressure in the world on this side of the map. Now they just got to win the gunfights. Journey getting caught on the cross as well. Lucky looking for the trades, but he gets traded himself. And OpTic right now on defense doing just enough. But obviously Miami, they are keeping up the pressure. If they ever get this like extra kill and set up the spawn trap, that's where things could get dicey. And this is close to being that moment.
Shotzzy has hit a flank. It's going to have to be an incredible flank, but doesn't need it. Metal's still going to be alive. Goes for the chow on the Dashy. Not going to happen. There's a wipe, and Shotzzy's now far ahead, but Journey has called this one as well. But Miami will have to fight their way back in. All that work, all those trades and blood spilled to get into that point, and they have to do it again.
Yeah, both of these teams keeping that pressure up, but obviously from OpTic, they wanted to push up and getting different corners. That's not going to be the case. It's a little bit more scattered, and Pred, the timing is not going his way because Heretics, the pace is just too fast. Shotzi's flanking again, but for Heretics, they got 3 bodies in and around this zone, and you got players like Dashy spinning in circles. This is a tough spot for Texas.
Shotzzy burns so much time, but Metals has found him. Back into the point now for them, but he's going to be outnumbered. OpTic have the bodies here to break this. Metals just wants that first tick, stunned already. Teammate watching over, but has he got enough here for him? Pred flies into the point as Metals flies out, and they now know he's in there.
Oh, no one saw him lay down, though. They thought he was in the back corner, so Red gets away with one there, but at least for Miami, they trade him out, and you still have 2 players around the zone, but they're going to need to kill a bunch because Dashy was pinning the other 2 players from Heretics back. So it's a slow zone capture, but also keep in mind for Miami, it's not just the zone. It is 10-7 on lives. They can win this 1 of 2 ways.
The trades have to be good here for OpTic. They absolutely have to be. Time ticking away. Miami need to get back into the point. Journey has to dive in and give up the position he had. Dashy just see his eyebrows, so it's not going to be enough. He flies out of the point, gets the kill, but no good. Miami spawning out. OpTic do just enough.
OpTic has to play this like a round of S&D. No one can afford to fall. The gunfights are going to come to you. Metal's the first one in. Kenny the first one to fall. Next man in line. Going to be players down low. Metals is just out here frying you, but still 6 seconds. You got to at least stop the clock. A couple trades going back and forth, and Metals closes the door. Heretics again fighting tooth and nail to get that offensive win, but they are successful, up 2-1, and now a round away from 3-0ing OpTic Texas.
My goodness, break out the capes. There are heroes on both sides of this equation. Just godlike plays over and over again from both teams just to get into a point. It is outrageous how the odds are stacked against people and they still get away with it. The Miami Heretics now in the lead into this one. If they can hold a defense, they will do the impossible. Something nobody thought they could accomplish.
I think right now it's just like their pace that has been out of control, on top of the fact that the opening breaks have been on point this time. No, OpTic's maybe just a little bit better. Shotzzy flies in and gets those first 2 entry kills, but capture on A. I don't see any trophies nearby, and the trophy wouldn't have had time to work. Metals is soaring at you. OpTic just don't have time in this series to breathe and like group together. They've been scattered, but with 2 kills right there and that B floodgate wide open, maybe OpTic this pressure on B going to pay off long term. The first tick nearly through.
And this is what will tell. Was this a misstep for Miami? Did they commit too much towards A? Already the body's in there. That second tick for OpTic is right on the horizon, but Metals to the rescue again! Oh my goodness! 23 and 13. He's putting his body on the line for this. Every time they need him, Miami Heretics have a medals.
I mean, look, sometimes he's soaring in and picking up 2 by himself. Sometimes he is the wrecking ball in the cleanup crew. Great tags on a couple players out of vehicle. Metals gets sent in for the kill, and he absolutely wipes you down. Number 24 on a 4 spree, 8 of which are objective kills. Metals ever present on the map, and again from OpTic, they are like they're feeling the pressure. Literally no time to breathe. Miami are soaring. Maybe a 2-piece can open up just a little bit of pressure on the map. It's a 2-stack coming through. A tick and a half of progress near there, and OpTic right now all about the objective.
There is still hope. 1 tick. That's all OpTic need. It hasn't been a strong round for them, but they only need to do it 1 more time in 1:35. Miami Heretics have to hold them at bay for the rest of this.
Shotzzy right now sort of wants that freedom, make this into his playground, and the question is, can Heretics be on point of keeping track of him? Right now, he's just in between everybody, playing with his food, but that's only for the first kill. He just ends up getting traded. His teammates get a couple more, so it's a 3v2 for a brief moment around the B zone, but it's not like it's easy. Very much in the mix right now is OpTic, and it is all about the timing, and that is not going Kenny's way. Dumpster hop up a little bit too close. And with a minute left on the clock and only 11 lives to work with, OpTic, again, staring down the barrel of a hot 3-0.
Kenny commits. They need this. 50 seconds for OpTic. Just information gathered. Metal's still alive, still gunning, still running. OpTic having to go. Dashy flies out the door. Down he falls to Lucky. Shotzzy. They needed to be a hero 1 more time. Slips through the gap. Finds the first. Looks for the second, and it's not going to be enough. Equal will fall. The rest of OpTic now turning on the burners. They have to get in.
It's Kenny again with an AR just in the mix next to everybody. Cleanup kills coming through from Miami, and no more respawns remaining. 4 lives in a dream. Miami are going to get this done.
Here we go. 1 last chance, 1 last run. Kenny will find the first. Lucky will get the trade back onto it. OpTic just have to get a body into this point. Jenny will get it 2 versus 2. Vehicle now looking, but Lucky will fall. The last player from OpTic goes down, and it's a vamos. Miami Heretics take down the unassailable. OpTic Texas fall. And what a tale we have woven heading towards Boston.
And a fun celebration for Miami, too. A potential meme there from Vehicle with a 3-0 eyeglass and a hell of amount of damage across the board for Miami. I mean, they literally just put on the pressure so hard from OpTic. I don't know if OpTic, like, they just straight up could not handle it at all. I mean, if you're looking at a player like Pred especially, like, he has that superstar potential. He just got completely nullified. There was never a moment where he